Welcome back to AkamaiTV. I'm Simone Stewart. Over the last few years, we've seen a growing trend towards a mobile-first attitude. This is not surprising, as there are regions of the world where cell phone access is more accessible than desktop access. However, more recently, we're starting to see a growing shift of mobile-centric enterprise. Joining us today to talk about that shift is Vice President and Managing Director of Akamai's APJ business, Graeme Beardsell. Welcome to AkamaiTV, Graeme.
Thanks very much, Simone. Good to see you again.
You too. Let's start by talking about what is driving the shift to a mobile-centric enterprise.
I think just first and foremost, coming from APJ, a very mobile-centric part of the world. In fact, this year, the mobile coverage globally will pass half of the world's population. So through 2019, we'll go to 3.5 million devices out there, and many of them in Asia Pacific and Japan. I think there's three things driving it. One is the Gen X, Gen Y influence on organizations now. They're very used to, they've grown up mobile, they're very used to having their own devices, bringing their own devices to work. There's the capability of the devices now to do full desktop applications and apply technology to the mobile device. I also think cost saving. CIOs are looking increasingly at how they reduce their cost on very expensive IT equipment for all staff, particularly contract staff or itinerant staff.
Okay, so in the market today, for those who have not yet started to make the shift, what do you think are the key considerations?
Okay, I think there's essentially two big considerations and a couple of others. Number one is security of your data. So if you're allowing people to bring their own devices to work, plug into the network, you've got to be very, very certain that the data that they're accessing and the applications they're bringing to work are secure and don't threaten your customer data or your important corporate data. Number two, I think there's a HR element to it as well and an IT element. So are your HR and IT policies up to date with the new transition to a mobile workforce, a distributed workforce, and a workforce that is actually bringing new stuff to the table all the time, not controlled by a traditional CIO organization?
Interesting. Okay. And the HR factor, I'm sure, is something that may get overlooked.
I think it does, yeah. I think it does. And increasingly, as I talk to our customers in APJ who are going down this route, they're starting to think about what effect BYOD or bring your own devices is having on their culture and their HR practices. Very topical.
So what types of innovations are you seeing?
Innovation is, first of all, from an application point of view, folks are now able to access all sorts of products on the internet from companies like Salesforce.com or from Oracle that enable you to build your own apps to solve your own business solutions. That's very, very new. Typically in enterprises, you're used to the IT department dictating what the apps will be and how they're used. So it's very, very new. A lot of innovation coming there. Innovation in work habits, again, it links back to the HR practice, but innovation in how people will actually function. Do they come to the office? Do they come to the office at all? How long are they in the office? What effect does that have on teaming? What effect does that have on creativity? A lot of innovation happening there with virtual offices, and you can look at companies like WeWork now springing up around that whole new shift in the work experience. And then the final area is in the devices themselves. Increasingly we see as the devices come out, there's more and more power in these devices to access more and more, and the demands that come with that accessibility put a lot of pressure on organizations.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about how Akamai is working in the space and helping companies move to this model.
We are helping in the whole domain of zero trust. Today on stage here at Edge, we heard from Forrester, who coined the zero trust phrase about 10 years ago to define an organizational model where there's so many potential breaches of security that you have to view every access point as something you can't trust. Doesn't mean you can't trust your employees, it means you can't trust the different access points that you now have. Having a mobile-centric workforce makes that even more pronounced. So we're seeing that that's a great opportunity for us to use the extended edge to reach into the enterprise and help with enterprise access solutions and enterprise security solutions. Also a great opportunity for us to manage the mobile workforce and the mobile devices by extending the capability we're having at the edge that we currently use to manage the internet, speed up the internet, and take advantage of new technologies for the mobile workforce like 5G that enables much richer content, lower latency, higher speeds, and making sure that that is something that can be taken advantage of by the mobile workforce.
All right. So for companies that move to this model, what do you think is the most immediate and the biggest benefits they see from this switch?
I think there's a couple of benefits. One is workforce flexibility. It gives you the opportunity to tune up and tune down your workforce according to specific needs. Two, it gives your people a chance to really embrace work-life balance. We've been talking about work-life balance for 20 or 30 years now. I'm an old guy, right? I'm not Gen X or Gen Y. But now I really feel that we're getting there for the very first time. People can actually work from, I was talking to a customer about that this morning, work from the beach and enjoy great work-life balance while at the same time being fully connected to the enterprise. So that gives your staff lots of opportunities. That also plays to cost savings as well. You don't need a big complex infrastructure that is replicated across the organisation when people are bringing their own applications, their own devices. And then the final thing is the opportunity to bring innovation to the workplace. These new mobile devices with the power they have, the new network technologies that are coming like 5G, give people access to a lot more computing power than they've had typically, and do so in unusual places so they can develop new ideas and new business solutions on the fly. Of course, that increases the security risk, and that, back to my last comment, is where we can help.
In your opinion, how far away do you think we are from this becoming the default model?
Well, in Asia Pacific, Japan, I think in some markets, Indonesia, for example, parts of India, parts of China, it is the standard. And in fact, there was a leapfrog, what I call a leapfrog technology, over the desktop sort of walled garden IT ecosystem into mobile only. So it's happened in APJ, and it's happening increasingly around the region. More of the developed markets are embracing this as well. Australia, where I was born, embracing it, and also places like Australia, which have huge issues with distance. The mobile centric model is the best way to solve issues of access for customers and employees.
Well, that's pretty interesting to see that some people are already moving to this as the default. So for those who are not yet in this model, how do they start the conversation? How do they start the conversation with us if they want to start to explore this? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I'm sure that every CIO in every organization all around the world, but I know in Asia Pacific, are being asked by their employees, whether they be Gen X, Gen Y, or existing older employees, more mature employees, about BYOD strategies. Everyone has their favorite device, whether it's Apple, Samsung, whatever. You're very bigoted about your device. You want to bring it to work. You want to use it both professionally and personally. So that's already happening. A lot of stuff happening there. I think what is required is corporations need to have an ability to answer those questions, and an ability to answer the questions that their senior executives and the board will be asking about data privacy, data security, and quality of service to customers in an extended or mobile enterprise. And we can help with all of those things. Number one, by our traditional edge network, helping with speed and security of delivery. Our new enterprise suite of products, although not so new anymore, that extend the enterprise to assist with access and security. And now, including our newest range of products around identity management, the idea of managing the identity of people who are bringing their own devices is very, very important to organizations, extends the security footprint, and enables much more security across important corporate data.
Well, this has been very interesting, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise, Graeme. I want to welcome any of our customers who have not yet moved to this model to reach out to your account executive to understand and learn more about what we have to offer, and to seek out sort of ways that you can use to explore, expand your mobile footprint across your enterprise.
Excellent.
Thanks again. This has been AkamaiTV.
Thanks, man.